All right, so we'll bring you exclusive details of how the Office of Lands and Natural Resources Minister was bugged. Now, we understand the national security operatives have retrieved an audio-visual recording device secretly planted in the office of the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, John Peter Amew. The minister has been on the forefront of the nation's fight against illegal mining. Raymond Akwa has a story on that.
JoyNews investigations reveal the setup was discovered when National Security embarked on a screening exercise at the ministry. It was planted in the huge coat of arms plaque hanging in the far left corner of the minister's office. The powerful secret recording setup included a camera, a storage unit, and another device suspected to be a transmitter. The highly sensitive device, which can even pick whisper 35 feet away, is neatly housed in a black metal box and uses batteries. It is unclear who put it there and how long it has been there. As National Security, we understand, is still investigating the matter.
Of that story, but John Peter Amew himself has been speaking to Israel Lai on Joy Midday News. Well, he says investigations are underway to apprehend who must have placed that device in his office. Here is that interview with Israel Lai earlier.
The device actually was uncovered during a screening process by the some security agencies, and for me, it's quite surprising, why such a device should be planted in my office. The offices of the ministers and other sensitive areas are supposed to be, searched from time to time. This has not been very regular, so what actually happened is that I invited a company called NASTEC to discuss the application of drones in our Galamsey site, And it was during the discussion that I got to know they are also expecting screening. And so I asked, then why don't you come and try my office for me the following day? So they came, and unfortunately, this device was uncovered.
All right, so I'm just curious, did you just ask them to come and screen your office? Could it be that you had some suspicions already?
Oh, no, the kind of jobs we do, especially in regard to my ministry, the sensitivity of the area, the security concerns. So it's proper you do security checkouts on yourself. Again, your car, your house, I'm quite aware of some of these implications. So I'm extremely careful in what I do at any particular point in time. And I think that directs me to do that, yeah.
What are your suspicions?
I wouldn't know how Ghanaians can be so wicked, or I don't know. I'm not suspicious, but I think somebody is just trying to be very mischievous and in an attempt to derive and gain for personal interest. And I don't know what might trigger people to do that. I can't understand, honestly.
I would want to believe that your office is a pretty secure place. Could it be your staff? I mean, do people just have access to your office like that?
Well, my office is a public office. People have access to it. My keys are in the hands of the sweepers. My secretary and other staff have regular access to the office. The keys are at the close of the day. We normally leave the keys behind. So the securities and everybody, have access to this office.
Now, I can imagine that there are some conversations would have taken place in your office, which are supposed to be confidential, which have now supposedly gone out. How worried are you about this?
Well, of course, I'm not worried at all. That office is a public office. Any conversations that will go in that office is supposed to be for the consumptions of the general public and for the interest of Ghanaians. And so I'm not so much worried whatever information may have gone out. We're trying to see whether we can also put in some devices in terms of monitoring. And so I'm in contact with the security agencies to make sure that the necessary security appliances are also installed.
Could there also be the possibility that this device has been there way before you came into the office?
It's also possible, and the National Security is investigating, but they have already been to my office 2 times. Unfortunately, they were supposed to be here this weekend. I'm going to re-engage them again. So the National Security, through the security minister, is on top of the issue. And I think that they will be responsible to get the feedback on those developments.
And I'm sure this would also involve trying to figure out who may have put it there if they did it clandestinely.
Precisely. I think that's the rationale for the National Security Minister to get the BNIs to commence investigation.
John Peter Mel is Minister for Lands and Natural Resources there. Raymond Akwa has been following this story. He joins me now in the studio. Raymond, welcome to the show. It's been a while since I had you, by the way. You explain, the details of this particular spy camera. Can you give us a bit more on it? I mean, we've seen the picture, but how was it supposed to work? I mean, you've seen it and seen how it probably works.
So we understand that it has two cameras. Right. One at the upper part of the coat of arms.
And we can bring up the coat of arms at this point so that it makes it easier for people to
the other at the lower part of the coat of arms. The other segments of this device, in fact, the security institution took part away. The part they took away is what people suspected was a transmitter.
Okay.
The second part, which is very vociferous, you can see on the screen, looks very, very big.
Is this a part of it? No, this is not it, is it?
The big blue part.
The blue,
yes,
the big blue
it's a storage device which is actually supposed to give you, what they call it, immediate recordings and record for a very long time. But what we also understand is that this is a very sharp camera, high technology camera. It can pick even whispers. It can actually record not only visuals, but audio in very clear terms. And we do not know whether it has transmitted any so far, but the understanding is that it is able to do that and also have a backup on the devices attached to it. Now, what we understand is that it might take somebody with extraordinary competence in security matters to put it there in the first place. Secondly, it also requires somebody who has been working in that department for some time to know that's the perfect place to install a camera. And the minister's office, you understand, is accessible to people, but only security who take care of the building and also people who work in that particular office. So these are the dynamics that makes this particular one somehow different. Indeed, when they picked some of the elements and took away, the understanding they had was that at first they're having difficulties in getting to the bottom of it immediately. So what they decided to do is to employ the best of the technical brains and engineering brains in the security setup to be able to get to the bottom of this. One of the questions that has been asked consistently is, so what happens to whether or not information has been transmitted through these modules or not? They say as of now, they've not been able to trace anything like that. Indeed, that's one of the things they are looking out for as leeways. And we understand they also picked fingerprints when they came for this particular device, which was revealed.
I see. Right now, we spoke to the minister. I mean, he's been speaking with Israel on the midday news, and he says that the national security, they're investigating who must have put it there and perhaps what they're looking out for. Do we know anything so far as of now? Okay,
so what we know is that even they have commenced their investigation. What they are trying to do is to get to know access first. What's on the device. Okay. Looking at the storage device attached to it. Then they can determine who is likely to put it there based on the information that's been covered.
Okay.
And they also pick prints of people around that device.
That will be difficult because it will capture everything, every discussion that has gone on in that office.
It's interesting. Okay, one other thing that they are also looking out for, it will at least tell you when it was put there.
Okay.
So you get to know whether it was there prior to his entry to the office or coming into office, or it was there after he came into office, or it's been there in the last month, 2 or 3 months. Because, of course, we would have captured information up to a certain period of time. And that tracking is what they are seeking to do at this particular point in time.
All right. Thank you very much, Raymond Akwa. It will be very interesting, by the way, to know who put it there and exactly what information. I mean, you were there recently to interview the minister.
Yes, but
so
I didn't
you
have
must
a
have
camera
been captured.
Certainly.
You must have been captured. And so we'll get to hear all the behind the scenes as well.
Well, that's interesting.
Raymond Akwa has been following on that story about the minister's office being bagged. Who put it there? What information are they after? What do they want to do with that information? Those are very curious questions that we're looking and waiting on the national security agents to uncover for us. You're still watching I almost said JoyNews Prime. Isn't that interesting? You're still watching The Pulse with me, Gifty and Dopia. I'm going to take before I take that break, despite repeated assurances by government that the fall army worm invasion is under control, the pests continue to attack farm fields in various parts of the country. When we return, Joseph Opoku has a report put together, and I'll bring you that report. It's quite worrying. Do stay tuned.